Hey guys, it's Bowser back here with Penny Stock Data Science. It's been a while since we made a video, but today we're going to be talking about the CE and OTC markets and promo flags and all that stuff. I noticed over the past few months we've seen a good amount of tickers getting hit with the CE. Starting in January, some stuff in February, and I actually I planned to make a video specifically about WYPH, but got busy with some other stuff, and frankly, I think it's good because it kind of solidifies some of the things I wanted to talk about that we haven't heard from the company in a while, and it's been more than 2 months, so it gives me a good opportunity to talk about just the CE overall. I know we've made a video a few months ago about TXTM where we talked about the CE, and that was a video more specific to that ticker, and we got quite a few comments on the videos asking, hey, how does a CE get removed? And it sounded like people not only wanted more information just about TXTM, although we're not really going to be talking about it today, but just about the CE in general. And I really thought this would be a good chance to talk about it. So you can see here from this list, we've seen about one, two, three, maybe like about 10 tickers or about 8 getting hit with the CE from January till about now, and that's a good amount. And there's a variety of reasons why you would get a CE, and we've already talked about in the last video about what the CE is, but most of these tickers here have gotten the promo flag. So FRFR, PARG, GOGY, RMV, all of these tickers got hit with the promo flag and the CE shortly after. Some, maybe same day, maybe a few days later, but that that's a huge thing here that most traders you need to understand, whether you're a seasoned veteran or you're new, is that these days if you get a promo flag, there's a pretty good shot you're going to get hit with the CE, and a lot of that has to do just with the type of promo. Promoting a stock isn't illegal as long as you you know share the information about like how you're being compensated and all that. Most of the time it's all right, but it's in these situations where something is not right where you're going to get hit with the CE. So, that's what we saw FRFR, that's what we saw PARG, that's what we saw GOGY, ARMV. And I think MYCOF, although I could be wrong about that. But, that's something to keep an eye on, is that if you're in a stock, gets hit with the promo flag, you need to be really careful about what the promotion is. And if you're not sure about it, that's something to consider, whether maybe you want to sell your position, get out, because we've seen. I mean, these stocks just tank when you get hit with the CE. We saw that on plenty of these where next day, boom, down 90%, 95%, 85%, and it's not like the CE is going away, at least not right away. It's not like, oh, they're gonna call up OTC markets next day, it's gonna be gone. No, it's a months long process, or in a lot of cases they just never get rid of the CE. If something some if OTC Markets is giving a stock the CE, it's pretty likely there's a good reason for it. They're not just handing them out like candy. Because if you think about it, let's say they flag you for something and there's no merit behind it. One of these companies probably could go file a lawsuit. Like, that's my opinion. That's not a fact, but they're not just handing out the CE for no reason. So if you see something that gets hit with the CE fairly quickly after some kind of press release or filing or promo flag, it means it's on someone's radar. Something like TXTM, where it was getting the promo flag on and off for weeks or maybe months, that's different. But something like one of these, where they get hit with the promo flag and a day or two later or the same day, hit with the CE at 4:01 p.m. when they do it now. It used to be back in the day that CE could come anytime, but now it's after hours. And I touched on that in another video at how I think that, it's my opinion, that OTC Markets is getting a nudge from somewhere about which tickers to give the CE to, and frankly, it's become a designation that acts as a way to get traders to stay away from something without actually halting it. If the SEC halts something, it gets sent to graze. It's whatever it is, 10 days, no trading, and then comes back on gray market. With the CE, you don't, nothing stops trading, nothing's suspended, but that designation prevents or tries to prevent new traders from entering position in something that OTC Markets believes should be fraudulent. So just something to keep in mind there. Uh, so specifically, what we're going to be talking about a little more in detail is WYPH, and this was a custodian play from Frank. We're going to go into a little more detail there, but pretty much they put out a press release. They're changing their name to different something on February 4th. Then supplemental change of control comes in a couple of days later. You open it up. Doesn't look like anything alarming when you read it. It just says, hey, shares sold to this person, change of control. But we have this, and then right at like 4:01, 4:02 p.m. boom, CE, same day, fairly quickly. And a lot of people on Discord, on Twitter, upset, rightfully so upset. They trade something, they buy it, and then boom, CE, whatever day it opens. I think this came out on a Friday, but Monday, things down. I don't remember exactly how much, but like very, very down a lot. 75, 80, 85, 90%. And if you don't understand what you're trading, then you're going to get very, very hard. But what's pretty noteworthy in this case is that the CE came fairly quickly. This comes out in the morning, it's trading, and then right at the end of the day, CE. So that means OTC Markets made the decision early on in the day that it was going to get flagged with the CE. They're not just deciding that a couple of minutes before the close. Oh, hey, by the way, going to flag this at 4:01, whatever time they do it at the end of the day. So what that points out is, okay, well, why did they decide to do that? And if they had such a short amount of time between this filing coming out and just making that decision, why did they make the decision so quickly? And what it probably means is someone's on their radar, whether it's their radar, whether it's SEC, and they're telling OTC Markets, hey, give this the CE, and that's for a variety of reasons. This has become the way to dissuade traders from buying stuff without actually suspending it, without knocking it down to grays. Frankly, I think it's a better method than a suspension, because you would get people stuck for such a long time, and it's better this way. It's not good because in the sense that, hey, if you're in something that gets hit with this, because it's obviously going to go in price, but it's better than getting stuck in a suspension. And I mean, WYPH was already before anyone got involved as custodian. I mean, this thing had a suspension back in 2007, which is it's been obviously a shady ticker in the sense that it's gotten in trouble before. But so this custodian had worked with George Sharp on some other tickers, and if we go over to George Sharp's website, you can see he has blog posts on here about the custodian Frank, and working with him in the past because he helped him get the CE removed off NIHK, and I believe this is coming right from George Sharp's website. And this video is not about George Sharp; it just happens to be he's done work with Frank. So he stopped working with him after NIHK. He wrote this blog post, and frankly, this says a lot here that, hey, this guy's had some issues getting things removed with OTC Markets, and now OTC Markets is just flagging tickers he's involved with. And I mean, in my Discord server, we have I keep notes on every ticker. Anything that's has this guy's name on it, for me and my server, is a do not touch. Like, we have, if a press release comes out on one of those tickers or a filing, like, you get a little message right away from the newsfeed we have that says, Bowser's notes, this is on the do not touch list because of this reason. And we have that for, we have notes for lots of tickers. We have, good notes like, hey, we like this one, or bad notes, we don't like this one. Or in this case, we want to avoid anything that this guy's involved with because of stuff like this. And again, this is just an opinion. But the other thing, the other important thing to note here is that George didn't want to work with him again. Okay. But the other thing to point out here is that, okay, so they get the CE, and a lot of times when this happens to tickers, they they put out a press release or something that says, like, hey, our attorney's looking into it. Hey, we're going to talk to OTC Markets. And sometimes, they do get it resolved. Sometimes they figure out what's going on. They submit whatever documentation OTC Markets needs, and the CE eventually gets lifted, whether it's 2, 3 months, whatever, it happens. But in this case, there's nothing. I know, we saw in Discord servers, people were like making phone calls and emails trying to figure out what's going on, but the company didn't put out anything on any official channel. Maybe they did something on Twitter, but that really that's meaningless because, OTC Markets isn't looking at that as an official way. They're not putting out a filing. They're not putting out a press release saying, hey, we're talking to OTC Markets, just nothing. And that really says a lot about, there's a reason that it got the CE. There is a reason for that. So if there's a reason for it, you really don't have much of a chance to get it lifted in the end. But that's my take on WYPH, and there's a lot of tickers out there. You can just it's not too complicated. You see which tickers people are involved with, and if it's someone who's gotten in trouble before, you can avoid it. And that's just risk management 101. That's not saying anything bad. It's just, hey, like, this has risk because it's connected to X, Y, and Z. And that's really what we have for this today. Just keep an eye out, be safe out there, and like we talked about before on the other tickers, just something as a promo flag, just be aware that a promo flag sometimes leads to the CE. Pay attention to what kind of promos there are, or what the compensation is. Is it being disclosed correctly? Like all these things, because if you do a promo the right way, you disclose everything, that's fine. That is 100% legal if you do everything by the book. Yeah, and keep in mind some promoters are just scrutinized more than others, and that's really what we have for today. So keep an eye out for more videos. If you like this, if you want to know more, if you want a video about getting the CE removed, just let us know and we will make one. There are plenty of stocks that get the CE removed. It's not an easy process, but it's something that we can talk about. So please make sure you subscribe to the channel. You guys have been doing a great job of that, and have a good one.